Merci pour cette introduction très chaleureuse. Pour moi, Genève, c'est une ville très spéciale. C'est la ville d'où est ma mère. Mes grands-parents ont vécu ici à Genève, même qu'ils ont vécu ici 40 ans comme des réfugiés de l'Hongrie. Ils n'ont pas parlé un mot de français. Et je rappelle encore toujours, comme enfant qui arrive de Zurich à Genève, et venir le Shabbat dans la synagogue ici à Genève, c'était quelque chose de très, très spécial. Je rappelle encore, je suis devant vous aujourd'hui, mes chers amis, messieurs, dames, et sur la place, il y a 15 ans, où le comité permanent était aussi à Genève, il y avait mon prédécesseur, le grand rabbin Joseph Citruc de la France, et le grand rabbin de Genève, le grand rabbin Dr Alexandre Safran, Zecher Tzadikin Livracha, et aussi il y avait la présidente de la Suisse, Ruth Dreyfus. J'aimerais m'exprimer que tous les rabbins toujours vont me comprendre aussi en anglais. Alors, d'abord, Kvod Rabbanim, Kvod Arab Rashi, le Geneva, Monsieur le Grand Rabbin de Genève, the Chief Rabbi of Geneva, my very good friend, Rabbi Dr. Yitzhak Dayan. And I would like to mention especially the Rabbanit of Geneva, Rabbanit Dayan. And I think that in our rabbinical world, sometimes we forget the great work done by the Rabbanit, by the wife of the rabbi. She does not get a salary, but she has to work sometimes even more than her husband. So I would like to ask you my dear colleagues, I would like to greet the President of the Parliament of the Republic, the Canton of Geneva, Jean-Marie Runard, Mrs. Ambassador to the United Nations of the State of Israel, Aviva Rashechter, the President of the Jewish Community, le CER of Geneva, Mr. Grumba, representatives of different faiths, the Christian faith, the Muslim faith. We have with us members of the Board of Patrons who support our organization and our work. We have the representative of our chairman, Dr. Boris Mitz, couldn't come today. We have Dr. Pesov. We have our vice chairman, Mr. Bart van der Kamp from Amsterdam. We have Mrs. Joëla Flalo from Luxembourg. And we have our new addition of today, Mr. Baruch Ehrlich from London. Ilya Gorelik is here with his wife from Zurich. Our esteemed member from Berlin, Mr. Arno August Jagdfeld. And from Tel Aviv, Yair Yitzhar, one of our younger members, Israel Goldschmidt, my cousin, one of my younger cousins, and Josh Nass from the United States. Thank you so much for joining us in our deliberations today. We have four special guests tonight with us. We have with us one of the known philanthropists from Russia, Mr. Viktor Vekselberg, who lives now in Zurich. Welcome. And we have one of the great entrepreneurs and philanthropists of the Jewish world, from Israel, from London, from Zurich, Mr. Rabbi Isaac Shapiro, the son of who has created the organization called ESGF, taking care of hundreds and hundreds of cemeteries which have been left without communities because of the Holocaust. And this organization decided today, Isaac Shapiro decided today, to work together with the Conference of European Rabbis in order not only to take care of our future, but also in order to preserve our past. We have with us also a member of the Belgian Parliament, Mr. Michael Freilich. Mr. Freilich came and joined our deliberations today in order to see what we can do in order to preserve freedoms, basic freedoms, religious freedoms, which were given in Europe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Today, it became again a variable, a value not being valued by new populist movements. And I believe that by joining forces, by working together, we can fight this new avalanche of political correct anti-Semitism in order to make sure that there is a Jewish future here in Europe. Michael, thank you for coming and joining us. We have also a very special guest tonight who happens not to be Jewish. His name is Abdallah Chatila. And if you don't know who Abdallah Chatila is, don't feel bad, because 5 minutes ago I also didn't know who he was. But he did something very, very special this last few days. I don't know if you heard that one Lebanese entrepreneur bought the personal items of Adolf Hitler in order to make sure that it will not get in the wrong hands, and gave it as a present to Yad Vashem in Jerusalem, the Holocaust Museum. Okay. No, afterwards. Gadi. Afterwards. Okay. Okay, so, Mr. Chatila, I would like to present to you a gift. It costs less than what you bought. It is a shofar, a ram's horn. We use this on every New Year, the Jewish New Year, and this was the way to get people together and to get a message across before the internet, before telex, before fax. So you did something which the whole world heard about. You did something very important. So you're getting this shofar, and in the name of the Jewish people, I say thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, in the synagogues, in every synagogue in the world, on Shabbat, we open the scrolls and we read the words of the Bible, the words of the Torah. And this week's lecture from the Torah is telling us the story of the birth of twins. The birth of twins, Jacob and Esau, the sons of Rebekah and Isaac. And as the Bible tells us a story, those two children are growing up, and they have to make a choice. And the choice they have to make if they want to be part of the Jewish story, or they don't want to be part of the Jewish story. And there's a very interesting midrash of our oral tradition telling us that when Rebecca, the mother of the twins, was walking in the streets and she was going next to the houses of learning, she felt that the birth process is starting. And when she was going next to the houses of idol worship, she also felt the birth process being starting, and she didn't know what was happening. So, till she goes and finds out that actually it's not one person with a split schizophrenic personality, she has actually twins. But I think what this story is telling us, that is a foundation in Jewish education, is the way the parents prepare themselves and behave. This is the way that the children are going to turn out. The steps the mother takes, if it's in one way, the children are also going to go in a certain way. But if the mother goes on another way, the children are also going in a different way. So parents have a great responsibility, and education is actually the profession of the rabbi. We have no clergy, laity status. The rabbi is just a learned person, a teacher. And we are teaching ourselves, we're teaching our children, we're teaching our communities. And we're teaching by personal example. We cannot coerce. Today, if people decide to remain Jewish, they do this by choice and not because they have to. I'm always remember the story when on the night of Kol Nidrei, on the night of Yom Kippur, a rabbi goes on the street and sees one of his congregants walking out of a McDonald's restaurant. So the rabbi asks his congregants, "My dear friend, did you forget that it was Yom Kippur?" He says, "No, I didn't forget." He says, "Did you forget that you're not supposed to eat on Yom Kippur?" He says, "No, I didn't forget. But I forgot." So what did you forget? "I forgot that I was Jewish." So, in a generation where every one of us has to make a choice, to belong to the Jewish story in continuity or not to belong, it is the rabbi of the community who is there to be the teacher and to tell everyone about our story and our heritage and our tradition. Unfortunately, in the last years, our rabbis who are teachers have to deal with other issues as well. This is defending the rights of members of our community to live according to our tradition. Defending against anti-Semitism. And anti-Semitism comes and from the extreme right and from the extreme left. We had attacks. We have today here the chief rabbi of Strasbourg, who was the chief rabbi of Toulouse at the time of the attack of Mera against the Jewish school. And then this attack was followed by the attacks in Paris, in Copenhagen, in Brussels. And until the moment that Europe understood that this attack is not only affecting the Jewish community, but is affecting every European, very little has happened. But the moment the terrorists started attack non-Jews on the Promenade des Anglais in Nice, Charlie Hebdo, the Christmas market in Berlin, the newspaper in Copenhagen, at that moment Europe understood that it is Europe which is at stake, and it's not a Jewish problem, it is a European problem. But today, for the first time after many years, we have victims of far-right anti-Semitism. The attack against the synagogue of Halle in Germany on the holiest day of the Jewish calendar could have turned much worse, could have turned to something like Pittsburgh, like San Diego, or like the attack against a mosque in New Zealand. And thanks to God, the security precautions at the entrance of the synagogue stopped from more people being killed. It is the first time in many years that after the Holocaust, the Jews were killed by neo-Nazis. And people are asking us, what can we do about it? What should we do about it? I believe, and I don't know how many of you have read the speech given by the actor Sacha Baron Cohen a few days ago at the meeting of the Anti-Defamation League, that we have a big problem in the social media. The difference between a person having a pen and a paper and writing whatever he wants to write, and by having access to make a post or a repost on social media, is the same difference like a terrorist having a pistol or a terrorist having an F-16 plane. It is much more powerful to the X level, and this has to stop. Yes, we all believe in freedom of expression. Freedom of expression is the foundation of a free society, of democracy, but free expression does not mean a free platform. Free platform to attack minorities, religious minorities, ethnic minorities, and encourage hate, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and terrorism. And those people who allow this are culpable and responsible for everything happening through social media. We know that the attacker in Halle streamed it in real time on Facebook. And so did the attacker in New Zealand. So did the attacker in Pittsburgh. This has to stop. And the European Union and European governments know how to stop when they gave Amazon fines with hundreds of millions of dollars for anti-monopoly practices. They were able to change practices. The same thing has to happen with regard to hate and racism, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia. I would like to tell you, my friends, and with this I would like to close tonight. The Conference of European Rabbis is fighting for your rights, for a Jewish future, for a future where Jews and other minorities can live in Europe in peace and security, where religious freedoms are granted. When Golda Meir went to the United States to raise money for the new founded state of Israel, she said the following. She said, "We are going to fight, notwithstanding if you are going to support us or not, you're not going to support us. However, if you're going to support us, we are going to win, and if you are not supporting us, we're not going to win." So I would like to say the same thing to my brothers and sisters, our friends, and I believe that tonight we only have friends over here, that the Conference of European Rabbis is going to fight for a Jewish future in Europe, for Europe with less turbulence, with less racism, and with more tolerance. But if we're going to win or not going to win is going to depend on your support. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry to disturb you, but I would like to say 2 words if you don't mind. I wasn't planned to come here today. I was giving an award for students in Geneva at the High School of Economy in Geneva. And suddenly my friend Ari called me up. He said, please come, all the rabbis of Europe are here. Okay? So I'm glad that all the rabbis of Europe are here. I'm very honored to be here with you. I just wanted to explain quickly what happened and which happened to become a snowball. I was reading an article in Paris. I was with my wife 4 days, doing nothing, not allowed to touch my phone, so I was hiding in the toilet, acting that it took a long time reading my text messages, but in fact I was reading a newspaper. And I saw that Rabbi Magolin from Belgium was complaining about the fact that there was an auction house in Germany trying to sell artifacts from Hitler's belonging and neo-Nazis, and he couldn't stop the sale. So I read the first article. 3 hours later, when I managed to take the phone, again I read another article. It was 6 o'clock at night. So I sent a message to my assistant. I said, please go to the website and just inscribe me. I would like to bid tomorrow. I thought, because I'm used to buy from the auction, I thought it was easy. The auction house was more complicated than I thought, and it took them 24 hours to register me. During the 24 hours, my first thought was to buy and to burn, because in my heart, those things should not exist. And during the 24 hours, I said to myself, who am I to choose what to do with those items? I'm Christian, I'm Lebanese, I don't have any family coming from the Holocaust. So I said, it would be a mistake for me to burn them. It would be a mistake for me to decide what to do with them. That's why 1 hour before the sale, when I got the approval of the auction house, they checked that I wasn't a neo-Nazi. Thank God they were right. And I called immediately my friend from Ken Haseyod, and I said, I have a donation to give you. So please don't be surprised if you hear in the news that I bought some items from Hitler, because I'm going to donate them to you. So when I spoke to Mr. Harry Levy, who's in charge of the European head office of Ken Haseyod, he said, what are you talking about? I said, look, I told them the same story I told you, so I don't know if I'll be a winner of those auctions, but if I will be a winner, please know that the only reason why I'm buying them is to give them to you. Do not think I'm buying them for any other reason. You could all understand with my name, I had to be very cautious. My wife was very, very concerned about this idea, and she urged me not to do it. And as usual, I didn't listen to her, which we should never do, right? But, so I called up the person in the auction, said, what do you want to buy? I said, I want to buy everything. Then he told me there's 800 lot. I said, stop, I'm not going to buy 800 lot. So I want to buy only all the items that belong to Hitler. He said, why Hitler? I said, why Hitler? Because Hitler is the personification of evil. Not for the Jewish people, for the entire world. So the gentleman who was on the phone was very surprised. He said, but why are you buying them? Do you like Hitler? You don't like Hitler? He said, no, I want to give them I wanted to burn them and I give them to a Jewish cause. So he said, can we say this, please? Because everybody in Germany hates us because we're selling artifacts. I said, do whatever you want. I don't want to intervene with you. So I pushed all the way. I said to myself I would put no money limit. And I ended up buying all the lots, except 2 lots because there was a mistake. And then I immediately sent a press release saying what I did. I did it because I was scared. I was scared because, again, My name is Abdallah Chatila, I come from Lebanon. And people have to understand why somebody would go and spend money for something they don't need. So I sent the press release, then one journalist called, he said, "Oh, I'm from Le Point. I heard you're in Paris. Do you mind if I meet you?" I said, "Of course." I came, I was in Paris. Another excuse not to do something in Paris with my wife. Please don't repeat. And then after I met with the guy with Le Point, one article, 2 articles, and 2 days ago, I got thousands of messages from the Jewish community. Thousands of very nice words saying that what I did was heroic. I didn't do anything heroic. I just saved a child that was crossing in a street full of cars. And this is really the image of what I did, because any of us would have done it if they would have seen it. I was at the right time, I was at the right time, and money has no means. So I did it because somebody had to do it. So now I'm here before you. You did the standing ovation. I'm very, very honored, but again, I don't feel I deserve this. I feel that what I did should set only one example. The example that all of us that are here, we have priests, we have politicians, we have, many rabbis. And to say to our neighbor that every small step that we do, every small step, helping a small lady walking the street, helping a family in need, counts in life. And the only thing I always say to my Jewish friends, and I have a lot of Jewish friends, is don't close yourself to only Jewish causes. Do like I did, open yourself. I give to everybody that needs something. I believe I'm invited next week to go to Israel to meet the president and a few other parliament, and of course I will go, because when somebody wants to honor you, you have to go. Then I also am invited to go to Auschwitz they want to give me another gift, and which I'll be honored to go.
But not a shofar, right?
Who knows, but it's going to be as nice as this one. And I'll have 2. But the only reason why I go is not because I want to be heroic, is not because I want to have a nice holiday in Israel. It's because I want to set the example that we live in a life that is too short, that all of us can make a difference, and we should make a difference. And that today, with extremism, with anti-Semitism, with racism, I was called a Salahab all my life, a dirty Arab. It never hurt me. But I can understand that someone that called you dirty Jew, you get hurt. But why didn't it hurt me? Because I think that people that are racist are ignorant. People that are anti-Semitic are ignorant. Would I go and judge someone who's ignorant? No, I want to teach him. And I think that this is really the word that I want to spread around. And I explained to you why I did this. And now that I'm seeing the overwhelming response that I'm being given, I'm going to use this as a voice to talk about what I believe humbly, as a human being, not as a Christian, not as a Lebanese, we all human beings should do, is give our hand to the other one. So thank you for everything, and good luck.